A warm welcome to our clients and all our participants to the webinar on divergence between the macros and equity market performance. It gives me immense pleasure to have amongst us our eminent speakers, Mr. Ramdeo Agarwal and Mr. Abhijit Bhave. Mr. Ramdeo Agarwal is the chairman of Motilal Oswal Financial Services Limited and is the driving force behind the company's approach to investing. MOFSL is a well-diversified financial services firm offering a wide range of products and services in securities, commodities, investment banking, asset management, and venture capital. As chairman of Motilal Oswal AMC, one of the fastest growing asset management companies in India, Mr. Agarwal has created the QGLP, Quality, Growth, Longevity, and Favorable Price investment process, and its buy right, sit tight investment philosophy. He is also the reason for MOFSL Group's highly awarded research. He has been authoring the annual Motilal Oswal Wealth Creation Study since its inception in 1996. He has written the books Corporate Number Game along with co-author Mr. Ram K. Piparia in 1986 and The Art of Wealth Creation, which compiles insights from 20 wealth creation studies. Agarwal is an associate of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and a member of the National Committee on Capital Markets of the Confederation of Indian Industry. He has also featured on Wizards of Dalal Street on CNBC TV 18. He has been awarded the Rashtriya Samman Patra by Central Board of Direct Taxes for a consistent track record of highest integrity in tax payments for a period of 5 years from FY95 to FY99. Mr. Abhijit Bhave, he is the CEO of Kavi Private Wealth. He has an overall experience of over 24 plus years across the wealth management and financial services industry in India and overseas. He has worked for organizations such as Deutsche Bank, HSBC, ICICI Bank, and Unit Trust of India in various stints across roles and functions such as business head, sales management, products and channel management, asset and cash management, corporate and retail banking. He is a mechanical engineer, an MBA from IIM Lucknow, and has also completed CAIIB. I would now invite our moderator for the session, Mr. Shantanu Avasthi, who is the head of products and international business at Kavi Private Wealth.
Thank you, Surbi.
Shantanu.
A warm welcome to all our clients, and thanks for taking out the time. And thank you, Ramdev ji, for actually making time available and coming for the session. In these times, we definitely want to kind of look forward to what are your views about the markets. But at the same point in time, I would also invite Abhijit to come and give an introduction to what we are talking about and what are our views, and then hand it over to Ramdev ji to actually address the gentry. Thanks once again. Abhijit, over to you.
Thank you so much, Shantanu. Good evening to all our clients in India and good afternoon to all our clients in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. It's a great pleasure. Today is a very special day, but I would definitely want to start first by thanking our clients. People say customers, Bhagwan hote hai, client is the customer is the king. If client is not there, we are not there. So thank you so much for your time. I am very confident that this 45 minutes to 1 hour that you'll spend today, there will be good value addition. I would also want to start by thanking Mr. Ramdev Agarwal. Thank you so much, Ramdev ji, for your time. Surabhi said so many things about him, but he actually, from what I understand, is a farmer's son who came here, did his chartered accountancy and started from scratch and has built a big reputation. He's known as the Warren Buffett of India. People say if cricket was a religion, Tendulkar would be God. I would say if equity is a religion, Ramdev ji will be God. So it's really good to have him here. We have heard him so many times on television. Today he has come for Kavi Private Wealth exclusively. So I'm very grateful to you, sir. Before we actually go into the topic and discussing equity, I just want to put things in perspective. And as this is, start with the why. Why are you here today? And why are you investing? At one level, you have come here to get the knowledge, to understand some strategies for investment. But at a larger level, you are investing because you have various goals in life. And that is what is the corporate mission we have defined at Kavi Private Wealth. Our corporate mission is to help our clients achieve their dreams and goals by doing a combination of safety, liquidity, returns, identifying the right products and the right partners like Motilal Oswal AMC. Customer is the king is just a statement, but actually, if you genuinely believe in this, we will compare this with the game of chess. I keep on reminding myself and keep on reminding my team. In the game of chess, sabse pehle we protect the king, and then we take the king towards the path of victory. Similarly, in wealth management, it is our job to protect first. Protect your wealth, protect your capital, look at your goals, and then slowly but surely and safely take you towards the path of your life, towards your goals, towards your victory. Today's topic is very relevant, and today's topic is very important, how the markets are behaving and how the fundamentals are behaving. And we will talk about that. A lot of people are talking about, are the markets going ahead of fundamentals, V-shaped recovery? Are these Robinhood traders across the globe pushing the markets up, and what is going to happen? We will talk about that. But before that, just to set the context, today we're talking of equity, and some of you will be aware that we do a regular knowledge series. A few weeks back, we did a discussion on debt and on credit, and today it's equity. And nobody better than Motilal Oswal Fund House, because they deal only in equity. But before we go to the main topic, I will just want to request you to look at 6 things which actually are a part of the word equity. We have actually cut the word EQUITY and looked at words which one should look at when one invests. So normally when we talk of E, we talk of economy and earnings. And as Warren Buffett had said, the stock price is a slave of the earnings of the company. But when, as an investor, you have to also look at entry. It's very easy to understand when to enter, but it's people like Mr. Agarwal who will tell us when to exit. Ideally, a good stock, one should never exit. After that, it can be asset allocation call. But something very interesting happened. Warren Buffett himself exited the entire holding in airline stocks post-COVID. So when a fundamental event happens, you need to exit. And that is important. That is something I would request you to look at. E for not just earnings and economy and entry, but also exit. Q is very important. QGLP is the philosophy for Motilal Oswal asset management. Q is quality of business. Q is quality of management. And as Ramdevji himself says, 1 into 0 is 0. Both have to be 1. So in today's context, it's not just the experience, the expertise, the skills, it's also the resilience and how the management is rebounding after COVID, and also integrity and corporate governance. Otherwise, as Ramdevji says, you become a 0 from a hero. U, to my mind, is very important. It's also one of the philosophies of Ramdevji. U can stand for what is underlying value or undervaluation. Price and value. You can buy a stock at the price, but you should have value which is higher than the price. I'm just going to give you a small example. Ramdevji will have hundreds of much larger examples. I'm giving my own example. I remember 2.5, 3 years back, there was a Hindustan Times award ceremony, and Mr. Mukesh Ambani had made a very, very nice speech when he for the first time spoke that data is the new oil, data is the new soil. And he spoke of the next industrial revolution being led by India on data. And that is the time I actually went and bought Reliance in my own personal portfolio. And that was real undervaluation. Maybe even today it is undervalued. But to make real good long-term wealth, one has to look at underlying value and undervaluation. That's the U. The I in EQUITY stands for investment manager, investment advisor. A lot of people talk of DIY, do it yourself. If I have 100 fever, I will take a crocin, I'll sleep off. My fever will go away. If I've got 102 fever, and if I have got a stomach upset and I'm shivering, unless I have a doctor in the family or I have medical knowledge, I'll go to an expert. Similarly, a lot of you have a lot of things that you enjoy, which is beyond equity. So you spend your time there, earn your wealth there, and give it to an expert, whether it is an investment manager like Karvy Private Wealth or a fund manager like Motilal Oswal. So I for the right investment manager. T is very simple. T is again what Warren Buffett talks about. It's about time in the market, not timing the market. And I will just give you one more small example. It's about time in the market. You know, something I've learned from my own failure. I used to work for Unit Trust of India. I bought the UTI Bank stock in the IPO for 35 rupees. A few years later, Axis Bank got an investor called HSBC. I sold the stock for 135. Then later, when Raghuram Rajan took over as RBI governor, I bought the stock for 700. In 40 days, I sold for 1,000. And later, the stock was 2,000. And I thought I was a hero. I was actually zero. If I'd actually not timed the market and had stayed with the stock from 35 to 2,000, just imagine where would the investment have been. So T is the time in the market. You have to give it time. Buy right, sit tight is what Motilal Oswal says. Many years back, there was a very nice Hero Honda ad which says, fill it, shut it, forget it. I think that is something we have to look at. And finally, the why. Why is something I feel very strongly about, and I really want you to think about this differently. Why is years to double or years to multiply? Normally, when our clients look at their investment, they compare, what is the return I have got? My CAGR is 5%, 7%, 10%, net of inflation 5%. Now, that is something we have done in the past, and the last 10 years, you have seen Nifty returns have just been 7% per annum. But there have been stocks which have done much, much more. Keep the simple rule of 72. 72 is the number, you divide that by the rate of return per annum, and what you get is the number of years of doubling your investment. So if the return is 15%, you double your money in 5 years. The return is 24% per annum, you double your money in 3 years. But to add to that, the eighth wonder of the world, the power of compounding. If you, अगर आपका return 24% per annum 10 साल के लिए है, it's not 24%, it is 10 times. So I would really request our clients to become ambitious, to be bold, and not look at CAGR. Just imagine you give 50 lakhs today, and 10 years down the line, you get 5 crores. That is the power of equity, and that is the power of compounding, and that is the power of long term. So EQUITY. E for not just economy and earnings, but entry and exit. Q for quality of management and quality of business. U for the underlying value or undervaluation. I for the expert investment manager, fund manager. T for time in the market, not timing. And Y for years to multiply. That is all I would like to say, because the main man is here. And it is a great pleasure. It is a great honor, Ramdev ji, you are here. Without any further ado, I will hand it over to you, sir. And we look forward to learning a lot from whatever pearls of wisdom you can give it to us in the next 30-40 minutes. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. So thank you very much, Abhijit. And thanks, Karvi, for hosting me. And it's a pleasure to be talking to all the listeners and the customers of Karvi Wealth. And it's a pleasure to be connecting with all of you. So, making money in the market is a very pet subject, and that's the career we are making. And it is always very confusing, particularly now when the markets are on one side, and economics and particularly the newspapers of India, they look at other side. So in any case, they print most of the negative stuff. They don't print the positive ones. So even the feel of the markets, they look very, very confusing, in the sense that, are they just a casino? Are they just being moved by the foreigners? And are we just mimicking the American markets? What is happening there? But at the end of it, you'll find that there is some method in the madness. It's not that every stock is going up. There will be few stocks which you may not be able to figure out. So few things I can tell you. One of the things is that some of the stocks which are like say Indigo, or say even some of the companies whose current profiles are very bad, in the sense that they really are looking very challenged in terms of their business. And even sometimes out of the current situation, say maybe next 12 months is also looking very challenging. And yet the stock market is not punishing them as they should have. So one of the things is that earnings power and earnings. So current earnings are clearly challenged, but the belief, I don't know what exactly is going to be the reality, when the COVID will go, in what form it will go, that nobody knows. And for that matter, I don't even want to call a astrologer or anybody. Nobody has any clue. everybody has an estimate and or guesstimate, and it will happen when it will happen. It didn't come announced, and it is not going to go in a very organized fashion. It might take, I mean, right now we are hitting the highest, so I think we'll start hitting lowest maybe another year or so. So we are into long haul, and we should be ready for that. And but then economics has its own way to play out, and governments have another way to kind of play the game. But now governments are realizing that lockdown is not very, very healthy, and it has not been able to really arrest maybe initially, but now they're realizing that it is better to open the economy and face whatever healthcare cost is there or preparedness is there. And in any case, I think the fear. See, one of the things is that when COVID came in March, April, that time fear was very intense. Between February and March, the fear was the main driving thing, not the COVID. COVID cases were less than 1,000 cases per day. But the fear was like so intense, as if, you know, mass cancer is hitting the whole nation. That once you are touched by COVID, you are dead. I mean, that was the intensity of fear. And that's why, and it's not only in India, all over the world, there was a panic, and that led to all kinds of crazy, you know, like a complete lockdown in India, some partial lockdown in some other place. So everybody executed their own way of doing things, and all kinds of videos started circulating, and social media made it sure that now the world economy is closed forever. And hence market made, you know, kind of a sell off on March 23rd. So that was the intensity of fear. The peak of fear was March 23rd. Then the talks of the vaccine started coming in very quickly. And some of the people, they realized that, okay, you have COVID, but you are able to come back. You are recovering. You know, there's a week, 2 weeks, and then you are broadly okay. I mean, it's not a death knell. And then the fear started subsiding. And now they're realizing that it is 1 in 100 that people are dying. So the death rate is just about a percentage, and it is coming down quickly. So it's not end of the world if you get COVID, unless you are very old. A lot more complexity is there. So the fear is come down. Fear is come down, and as fear is coming down, the markets are recovering. You know, so if you have some kind of a fear gauge, you'll see that 23rd March around, it must be the highest, and today it must be the lowest. Though number of cases are highest, so it is not the number of cases of COVID. It is the fear of the COVID which is driving the market. Markets are driven by only two feelings: fear and greed. So, I mean, right now we are still in some amount of fear. I mean, I don't know what is the right way to conduct oneself, but like I'm stuck at home. I'm right now talking from home. I barely go to my office. Once or twice in a week I go, that too for 2-3 hours, and I'm very strict about who enters my cabin. But that's not the way the world is going to work. So everybody is taking their own way of precaution. But fear is going away. You know, I mean, fear is definitely subsiding. And Mr. Trump has gone about saying that on November 1st, he will have mass vaccination free of cost in America. I mean, is it a promise, pre-election promise, or actually it is going to happen? That only time will tell. But now vaccine is in talk, in the sense that there is enough talk about vaccines. Sputnik is being manufactured by Dr. Reddy, or Bharat Biotech is doing, or Moderna is doing, or this guy is doing, your Poonawalla is doing. So there are a whole lot of vaccine talks are there, and I'm quite sure in 5-6 months, out on the outer side, we will have tons of vaccine, and you'll have choices of the vaccine: red, green, yellow, pink, whatever. So there'll be a lot of vaccines, and so we are. I think we are in the concluding sort of it, and I think the biggest vaccine is that immunity which is being developed in the community day by day, day by day. Another theory I've heard is that the strong strains of this things, COVID, is taking away the life in which it was residing. So what is left is the much more mild version of it. So what you're getting in the circulation is the milder version, and the very severe version is clearly dying out with the people. And that's why the health authorities, they're not handing over the bodies to the relatives. They're trying to make sure that in a packed condition, it is being disposed of, so that that variety doesn't get into anybody else. So I think there are a lot of theories. Nobody knows what is the right theory and how things will. But coming back to the businesses, and now the most important theory which is going on is what shape of recovery is going to happen. So government is saying we are recovering at V-shape or whatever, but there is another thought process of K-shape. So some of the companies will go through the roof and some of the companies will go through the bottom. So that is what seems to be happening, at least what I see here. There are huge number of winners and there are huge numbers of losers. And it is very important at this point of time that you're on the right side of the team, in the sense that I'm quite sure there will be a lot of casualty. In every business, the sub-scale, not well run, leverage businesses, the companies which were in trouble before the COVID hit, 1/3 of the economy in any case was trouble before the COVID hit. So those guys in none of the RBI circular also, they are not supposed to be helped. So I don't know. I mean, they need the maximum help, but RBI and government authorities, they are not giving any help to those guys. There is no window for the guys who are not good asset on the eve of COVID. So that will make sure that a lot of these guys, they will go under. So, and then some more will find it difficult to, for whatever reason, sub-scale they are, or they don't have wherewithal to gear up. So what will happen is that when the economy opens up, even in 21, 22, it will open up with a fewer number of players in respective industries. And so that again will lead to divergence. So winners will be big, losers will be big. So you have to be very careful. You are not sitting with a guy who is actually losing his business, and that is going to happen across. So there are a lot of investors, particularly amongst us among retail, who take pride in saying that whatever I bought in the last 30 years, I never sell. So of course, that's also a style. But my sense is those kind of portfolios may have a lot of duds in their portfolios, and they may never come back. So that is one divergence I see clearly, which one should be guarding against. Second, what has happened is that government has used all the monetary tools to keep the economy afloat, and credit flow has been fantastic, liquidity has been fantastic. This we have not seen since 2014. This is for the first time. Current governor has been trying for last 1 year before COVID also, but I think now during the COVID, this liquidity is at max, and I have not seen this kind of liquidity across, and a crash in the cost of money, availability of liquidity for the people who deserve to get is never been so much better. Now the issue is that whether appropriate fiscal measures will come or not. I mean, just to pull the people out of the home and start consumption, kickstart the consumption, and kickstart the moment consumption happens, profits come, entrepreneurs become mad. The guys who are today deleveraging, they themselves will come with the 10 times bigger projects. So what is important is to reverse the cycle of pessimism. I mean, if you see, biggest of the enterprises, whether it is Tata's or Ambani's, or I think everybody is in deleveraging mode, which is very dangerous for any economy. Everybody is explicitly saying that in 3 years' time, 2 years' time, I'll be zero debt. Companies are taking pride in saying that, sir, by 2022, I'll be zero debt, or 2023, I'll be zero debt. I said, boss, how is it possible? I mean, if the major corporates are giving, I met one steel company from Raipur. He says, sir, I have 2,500 crores debt and I'm earning 800 crores every year. In 3 years' time, I'll be zero debt and never will I enter any of the doors of the banks. But I will go from 4 million to 5 million ton, but I will do it on equity. I've never heard anybody doing core steel, commodity steel business only out of equities. So the risk aversion, for whatever reason, one is COVID, of course, but other than whatever has been the government policy in the last 5 years. So that is going to be a defining thing, the current loose monetary policy. And I'm quite sure now we are going to see some action on the fiscal side also. Government is quite careful about not opening too much of fiscal, stimulus. But because that's what was done in 2008, and they're saying that of that, the downside they are facing. So they don't want to repeat the same mistake what happened in 2008-9, when excise duties were cut from 16 to 8%, and there was a complete V-shaped recovery. But if you want true V-shaped recovery from a current kind of L-shaped kind of thing, I think you need a good fiscal dose, and my sense it is coming, and not coming to help you and me or jobs. It is coming because government is the biggest needy right now because they don't have tax revenues, and the tax revenues are actually falling. Just now, direct tax collection numbers came, and I think it is down by about 22-23%. So how do you meet the budgetary needs of the government of India? And hence, government will find. I mean, they will not panic, but I'm quite sure everybody's job out there, prime minister to finance minister to commerce minister, you name it, and everybody will talk growth mantras, and let's see what all they do. In any case, our prescription has no meaning. They will do their way. Delhi has its own language and they find their own style of doing it, but I'm quite sure somehow they'll muster good amount of growth. And hence, we should be all not anymore pessimistic, and you should not become too optimistic also, but you should remain in the markets. What is important in the stock market is to be in the market good time as well as bad time. It cannot happen that in bad times you are out of the market, and only in good time you want to be there. So basically you want to time the market. It is impossible to time the market. That's the funny part of the market, and that is the excitement of the market. And if there are 1 million people in the market, all except, not even accepting one, everybody is trying to time the market round 24/7. And that is the biggest, biggest challenge in the marketplace. How to time the market? How do we get it right? That whenever the low of the market we buy, and whenever high of the market we get out. ये नहीं हो सकता है, वो हो नहीं सकता है. And earlier you realize, better you are. I'm telling you, I realized it very early in the game. I started in 87, and since I didn't have money, my daily earnings used to be 5,000, 10,000 rupees through the brokerage. So what we used to do, we used to buy stocks against that. We didn't know what is a Teji or Mandi or anything. For us, it's a kind of a playground. I mean, when you are a player, you really don't bother whether it is a गर्मी सर्दी. अरे क्रिकेट खेलना है उसमें क्या तकलीफ है? चाहे गर्मी हो, सर्दी हो, बरसात हो, फुटबॉल खेलना है. So the players are like that, So we are those passionate players. So whatever money was coming, I mean, my buying list was longer than the money we had. So I used to buy against same day the brokerage. Like today, if I want 10,000 rupees, I'll buy 10,000 worth of stocks. So in Wallan, I used to get only stocks. I never saw money. So that was it was a timeless strategy in the sense that you sell something, you earn something, just buy stocks. 24/7 only buying stocks. So buying stocks or selling stocks, but never be in cash. That was my mantra even from 87 till 94 when I heard about Buffett and read about him. And then he confirmed that particular thing. But one of the things which he said was that don't have too many companies, have focused portfolio. Because I had on my 10 crore portfolio, I had 200 companies. So I cleaned it up in 1 year from 225 actually to 15 companies. And that very year my portfolio doubled because I could see it. Earlier on a 4 Excel sheet, by the time it is 1.5 after you had a cup of tea and your glass of water, you're tired. You say, "Yaar, jana abhi aage dekhenge baad mein." And again, you never go to that 3rd page or 4th page. Many times I started from behind, so I could reach to half. So that's the power of. So you are not able to see all your candidates only, and what will you know what the hell is happening there? So clearly, bringing focus in what you have is extremely important. Very, very important that you practice focus in whether you have number of stocks, whether you have number of schemes, number of wealth advisors, number of analysts, whatever you have to have fewer. Here, quality is extremely important. Quality is extremely important. So timing the market is completely out of the picture. And so that was one thing which comes to my mind, that currently, because the confusion in the market, anybody would like to time the market, but timing is impossible. And it is best that you understand your own risk appetite, in the sense that in equity markets, how much can you lose, or how much you can live without much return in the short term. Because everybody says that, sir, this is for very long term. But the moment 100 goes to 95, he starts calling up, sir, ये क्या हो गया, वो क्या हो गया, आप बोल रहे थे 15% रिटर्न आएगा, ये तो 5% नीचे आ गया, 10% नीचे आ गया. मैं बोला भाई, that is the expectation we are building up with you कि in last 40 years markets have gone at 15%. You must expect 15%. But that doesn't mean that next 12 months will be 15%. Because in last 40 years, the average is about 15%, but none of the year is 15%. Either it is 85% plus or 25% down. So it's something like that, you know. So, but then I have seen 7.5 out of 10 years are positives at different levels. So last 3-4 years has been a little more challenging than averages, but long-term average has been very good, and there is no reason why the base rate of the country, whether 6-7% of growth or 8% of 7% of GDP growth, that should not translate. I mean, I'm not a macro guy, but basically I believe that any country which is on a solid path, I mean, maybe under one leadership or something, it may slow down, but eventually it makes up for it, and it catches up with the speed. And that's been my experience. And even now, in fact, this break of this year, minus 10%, is the biggest launch. This is the biggest time when you should actually put as much as you can in equities, because from here onwards, there has to be, next 3 years has to be hyper growth. And it is very difficult to say today, because my experience is that whether it is 92, whether it is 2000, whether it is 2008, and now 2020, after the collapse, next 3 years are the best period of making money. And then it becomes a, you know, kind of a topping out or tired kind of market. So today I was making a presentation that India, don't bet against India. So, you know, in that, when I see the country's condition, whether it is political situation, whether it is a forex balance, you know, we were bankrupt in 92. Today we have $550 billion of reserve, and RBI is defending dollar, not rupee. So that's the situation. We have ample flow of dollars. And yesterday night, Powell is saying that for till 2023, most likely zero interest rate is going to be there. I mean, that he can change on a flip, but still that means that 12 to 18 months is going to be quite low interest rate. So if that is the kind of a recovery phase, 2 to 3 years, so clearly, I mean, at least he's thinking that zero interest rate will be there just to repair the economy. So he's thinking of 2 to 3 years has happened in 2021. So we have to be also aligning ourselves in thinking like that. And hence, I think we'll have an ample forex reserve. We will have a very weak oil. For the next 3 years, I think oil is gone to more like $40-50. It is never going to go to $80-90. So we will not have trouble coming from oil side. Now, we have reached a positive trade balance, and hence you might have seen the fiscal deficit for the first 6 months, current account deficit for the fiscal, this thing, it is reduced to some single digit number against a very large number last year. So clearly we have ample food reserve, like completely booming rural markets and fantastic monsoon. So you have a ample food reserve, you have ample forex reserve, you have very stable political situation and ambition of the government to grow the economy. Now, अब यहाँ से हवन होना चाहिए. I mean, it is only expectation. I'm not saying that it will happen, and I don't have any timeline that it will happen, but my experience tells me that have a little patience and it will happen. So, so markets are also reasonably priced in the sense that it might look a little heightened in terms of P multiple, but if you look at the aggregate number, still very reasonable at about 65% to GDP. So that's a very reasonable kind of number. The real issue is the growth in the economy. If economy starts growing, I think the world is awash with liquidity. World is in a zero situation. We are still at 6% for 10 years. So I think it is an opportune time for the country to use this particular opportunity to utilize whatever is there. I mean, take little risk and put up your infra. My sense is they'll open the gates of infrastructure spend. I mean, whether it happens from this quarter or it happens from the new year, because this year is a little more challenging in the sense that your fiscal situation is very, very bad, at least in the first half of this year. So maybe in the second half, maybe the next year, but I think we are going to see very accelerated build up in infra spend. That's my sense. and interest rates are going to remain low, and it is a very interesting time for buying the companies whose franchises are not broken, but currently they are broken. So it is like a cricket analogy. Sachin Tendulkar
Just give it a second. He's hanged, I think. Yeah, so you had got. Can you hear us, Ramdev?
Hmm.
आपका screen
We
freeze
can see you now. You can probably continue, sir.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay. So I think a lot of time when I'm talking to my friends, they're saying that, have you seen aviation traffic so low? I mean, just about 25% occupancy, but the stock is not buzzing down. So, there will be a lot of, but one of the things I learned from Buffett, I think the most prophetic thing is that do in the stock market what you understand. Don't do if you don't understand anything. Whether it is a equity or you are buying house, you are doing anything. Please don't write any check till you understand. You are convinced about whatever you're doing. You know the pluses and minuses. So it is very important that you understand what you are doing, and that I have used in many walks of life. Whenever I am confused, somebody will show me a very good real estate. Ramdev, this is looking damn good. Why don't you have one? I said, भाई देख मेरे समझ में नहीं आता है. I don't know how to handle this. I mean, I'm good with my one home, and that's fine. I mean, yes, the deal is very good, but I'm not going to pile on, though, even if I have the liquidity. So I never get into any kind of a trouble. I mean, I say, ab initio, was out. I'm not going to be there, and that has kept me in good shape in the sense that in every aspect of it, I remain very focused. I meet people whom I'm clear with. I take up subject companies. Even the company meetings I take up before the meeting, I take my research, little bit of research, and I know generally there's an appetite for that company. Then only I spend time. So it is very important to say no to a lot of things, and particularly in the investing and wealth management. The greed of making you 2-3% in the fixed income side, and greed of making very quick money on the equity side. I mean, you end up losing a lot of money. And so you must understand the underlying risk. There is a lot of risk in all the products. These are crazy times, but there is a lot of opportunity, exponential opportunity. These are exponential times. When the world is printing more than $1 trillion every month between Europe, America, and Japan, I mean, you can imagine what kind of liquidity we are floating in. And yet, the dollar is quite stable, and we are likely to see capital inflow. So I don't know, the digital economy is so exponential. The companies are now achieving a 500, $600 billion market cap within no time, in the sense that like Tesla. I mean, and there's not only one Tesla, there are a whole lot of companies which are going crazy. So, and I think that story is yet to start in India, though we are digitally most prepared economy in the world in emerging markets. So we are going to see in the next 5-6 years, the unicorns or the startups which have come in last 5-7-8 years, they will start getting one by one listed. And then we'll see the excitement of like, say, Reliance is trying to put up a very big e-commerce front. Like that, there will be a lot more companies which will have digitally empowered companies. So the opportunities look quite immense, but what we need to bring is a lot of patience and reality in expectation. Expectation has to be reasonable and a lot of patience. And if you buy quality or invest with the quality managers, you are going to get your compounding right, because in compounding you not only need the good rate, but more importantly you need a lot of time. In fact, compounding works only with the relentless time. So I have seen birth of HDFC Bank. at 1,000 crores market cap in 95. And today it is not even 25 years and it is 6 lakh crores. 600 times right in front of me. I mean, I've seen every single day of HDFC Bank. So, I mean, these are exceptional companies, but this is the opportunity of India. And what is the next HDFC Bank? HDFC Bank only. You know, you don't have to find the next HDFC. What we do is to find next HDFC Bank. We go and buy some junk, and that this is going to be next HDFC Bank. But ये सब बहुत जब चांद सितारे सब एक साथ आते हैं तब जाके HDFC Bank बनता है. So there are a lot of ideas like this which are long-term compounders, and you got to be sitting with them. But you need to be realistic, patient, and keep your expectations low, and then the fun of stock market will happen. With this, I'll close my remarks, and we can continue our discussion with the Q&A.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for insights. I think very simple and very interesting way to look at things, and very, very important from an investor standpoint. No jargons, very simple and very easy to understand. Of the questions which I've been looking at, and what is coming through again and again, and you probably mentioned one of the things was that with all the companies stopping to borrow, where will the credit growth come from? And what does it imply for the banking sector? And does it mean that how will the growth come in if everybody is going to be looking at only equity?
Yeah, it's a phase. I mean, that shows the risk aversion among the entrepreneurs also. Even the individuals will do the same thing. They would be trying to do, in fact, that is going to be the biggest challenge to, I mean, you might have read the study. I mean, yesterday only the study came in that in US, whatever those free checks have been sent, $1,200 or $2,000 per person out there. I believe some 75% of the people have either paid down the debt or saved the money. They're not spent, only 25% people have saved. And that too in US. So the risk aversion is total. So in this social media and the digital this communication, the fear is multiple times more than what is the on ground the fear it should be. So people behave. I mean, consumers behave in a particular way. Nobody knows, but the craziest animal on this earth is the entrepreneur. At one point of time, he'll be craziest pessimist. And in next 4 years, he will be the biggest, I mean, how many companies, I know in steel industry, all these companies which you are seeing today, they're all in CDR in 2002-03. They were literally bankrupt. They didn't have any money. And from there, again, they became very large and again they come into CDR. So this is a pendulum of pessimism, pendulum of optimism. So right now we are in a clear pessimistic kind of situation, and that's why zero interest rate. When you have zero interest rate and a rising stock market, सबका दिमाग घूम जाता है. But people are, if you tell them that this damn stock is going to go from 10 rupees to 30 rupees, they are, I mean, you see the number of transactions which is happening in Vodafone Idea. I think every day 150 to 200 crore shares are happening. I think the brokerage earned or spent is more than market cap of the company. So what I'm saying is that, I mean, useless companies like they're not doing anything. There is no profit, but the amount of trading which is happening because the speculative, mindset कि भाई मैं 10 में खरीदा 11 में बिकेगा 12 में बिकेगा, तो वो जो काम चालू है वो चलते रहेगा. That is psychological. I don't think that is the economics. If I can borrow at 5% and I can deploy at 20%, I think there are, in 1 year, once you show that you can make 100 crores, there'll be 100 guys lining up to take the borrowings. So it's all cycle.
Thanks for the insights on that side. Sir, another thing is that, a lot of people are saying, you also mentioned that so much printing of money is happening all across. Will this lead to inflation, and if it could also kind of lead to problems in the long term for the world economy and our economy, which is already kind of trailing? So what is the answer to that? How do you see that panning out?
It's a very complex question, but I keep reading about this. I'm trying to grab if anybody is insightful about this, because see, right now they are printing and they decided to keep printing till the economy comes to kind of a normalcy. And normalcy in the economy is not, at least 6 months, it is not in sight. till vaccine actually comes and it is being shot and it is seen, the result is seen, and you start becoming confident about the going to office or in mingling with people or socializing with the people. I think it is going to be very low level of confidence of the consumers. So I don't know how this world is going to shape up, because technically speaking, any asset will be, in fact, my sense is that there could be a real estate boom in India. There is because apart from stocks, the next hard assets are either gold or real estate. So gold is a globally determined price. So whatever happens, because gold doesn't earn anything, gold is a dead asset in the sense that gold doesn't have any growth potential. So gold is a inflation hog. Till inflation comes, I think gold is going to remain here. But the moment you see the first sign of global inflation coming up, I think gold will start flying. So gold doesn't see downside, but I'm not too convinced about the $3,000, $4,000 coming through. And I never made money, and I'm always wrong in gold. So take your own advice on gold. But my sense is, I spoke to today one of the reasonably large builder who has taken the real estate, and he's saying that they are seeing very good crowd in terms of Bangalore, Pune, and all these, wherever IT cities are there. I think they are seeing very good influx of liquidation of the current inventory, which are ready for position. So they are saying that next 3 years should be a reasonably good time. In fact, he's saying that he would not be surprised if there is a small boom in the real estate after 10, 12 years.
So next question I'd like to put to Abhijit over here. The point over here is that, we've seen all of a sudden a lot of interest in overseas markets, and a lot of people actually, including Motilal, also came up with an S&P 500 index fund. And so what are the means and ways one can participate into overseas market? Does it make sense, or what should be the allocation like?
Today morning, somebody sent me a very interesting pie chart which said that India's market cap compared to the global market cap is less than 1%. And India is like a micro cap in the entire global stock market. So why would you want to go out of India if you're seeing so much potential within India? But in terms of just pure diversification, one looks at overseas markets, and the most commonly followed way is through feeder funds. As rightly said, Motilal Oswal themselves have, I think, 2 feeder funds, NASDAQ and S&P 500. There are other mutual funds having stock baskets, feeder funds. That's one way of doing it. And as an allocation, maybe 10% odd allocation. The other way, a lot of our clients are in their 40s and they have young children, and they actually are trying to create assets overseas. And there is something called Liberalized Remittance Scheme, LRS, which allows people to invest overseas. And we actually help people also invest in dollar assets globally. So these 2 ways are something that one can look at. But if अगर आपके घर पे खुद ही हीरा हो तो आप बाहर क्यों देखोगे? So the majority portfolio should be within India. Just one additional point to what Ramdevji said about real estate. Ramdevji, we actually have a lot of developers as our existing wealth management clients. And people say that the most positive and most optimistic people you will find in the equity markets and real estate. And they also have told us that they are very bullish. And as a house view, we are also actually positive on real estate. And that is something we actually advise our clients about. So I think bang on, we both the organizations have similar views on real estate. Shantanu.
Yeah, I'll just add one thing. See, this going out, see why people want to go out, because they have done well, we have not done well. I'm telling you, nobody wants to diversify. Everybody wants to make money only. So they are seeing that NASDAQ has done 20% or 25% and we have done nothing. So let's pile on their machine. और आप जैसे पहुंचोगे वो परफॉर्म करना बंद कर देगा और यहाँ पर चालू हो जाएगा चरखा. फिर उसके बाद आप भाग के मत आना वहां से. So वो जो स्लो ट्रेन फास्ट ट्रेन होता है ना मुंबई में, आप स्लो ट्रेन छोड़ के फास्ट में जाओ, जब तक प्लेटफॉर्म पहुंचे तो मान लो फास्ट भी चला गया, तो स्लो भी चला गया, फास्ट भी चला गया. तो ऐसा मत हो जाए. You must do with a real commitment that yes, I want to diversify in the long run, and I will not be concerned even if it reverses. So the diversification should be genuine, not chasing the return of the last 10 years out there.
Sir, one interesting question over here is people are asking that how do they balance their investments while they are investing? Should it be the balance between SIP and a lump sum investment? And what do they do? So any ideas on that?
I mean, you guys are expert of that. I mean, wealth managers, you must explain what exactly is their outlook, what is the risk, this thing. But
Well, yes, please
from
continue.
my side, what I would say is that first to decide how much you can actually be careless about. The money which you can really bet, because slightly it's a speculative. Stock market is speculative. It tests your patience. You know, सब तरह का problem है stock market में, because it gives you double the return. If your debt is doing 6%, it will give you 12%. But that 6% has the cost of your patience. If you don't have the patience, that 6 will not come. In fact, it might not come even 6, I'm telling you. Because if you buy at the top and sell at the bottom, फिर वो कोई chance ही नहीं. You have to stay through to get that 6% extra. That is the cost of making money in the stock market. And hence, you must make sure that you have enough of fixed income. And younger the guys, the rule of 100, where you decide your equity portion depending on your age. I think something like that, 100 minus your age, and that should be your equity. So if you are 40, if your average age of your clients are 40, I think they should go for around 50% equity and 50% debt, 50-60% equity. And they must never rebalance, in the sense that let it keep going down, keep going up. If 60 becomes 70, don't cut it to 60 again. I mean, incrementally you can be 60-40, then you get another 10 lakhs, you put 6 lakhs in the incremental equity and 4 lakhs in debt. But if the 60 goes to 80, it will happen. At some point of time, your equity will be 80 and you will be 20 debt. Just don't look at what is the composition now. Once you made a successful entry in the stock market, just enjoy. Because in 20, 30, 40 years, I mean, he's 40, in 25 years, nobody has a clue how big will be the return. I'm telling you. I mean, I can't believe in last 35 years, 33, 35 years. When I started my career, index was 350, Sensex, and today it is 36,000. And that to bear market. So what I'm saying is that I have seen 100x in my eyes. I can't believe that next 25 years will not be as exciting. I'll be extremely surprised. There's no reason that excitement will be any less.
Just to add, Shantanu here, what he rightly said was it is our job to advise our clients. So, it's very sad when the markets go down, a lot of people stop their SIPs. That's the time the SIPs have to go in. So we always tell our clients rupee cost averaging is important. You continue SIPs, regular income you're getting, that has to go regularly into SIPs. Lump sum you're getting, that can be tranched through a STP. But nobody can time the market. So there's no point in terms of trying to time the market. So a tranched approach is something that we recommend to our customers all the time. And as Ramdev said, now I saw one of the questions of somebody saying, I'm 60 years old. I'm trying to get an optimized return. So absolutely right. Asset allocation, equity is equal to 100 minus the age. And within that, what is important is sub-asset allocation. Kitna large cap, kitna mid cap, kitna small cap. Within debt also, he rightly said, do not go for that greed of 1 or 2% more in debt. Debt hai to look at capital preservation. If you want higher return, go for equity. So absolutely agree in agreement with what sir is saying.
And another thing is that what is your parallel income? One is the saving, then second is the income. If you have a fantastic source of current income, then you can be very aggressive on the equity.
Yes.
Because your setback in equity, see, you should be always preparing for the setback in equity. अच्छे के लिए तो बहुत stomach है, there is unlimited stomach. What happens when there is a setback? हमें जैसे मेरे पास 1000 को इक्विटी, अब कितना गिर जाएगा यार, 50% गिर जाएगा, तो भी मेरी जिंदगी ठीक है. ये इस टाइप का आप यदि ये सोचते रहोगे मेरे 1000 का यदि मतलब 2000 नहीं हुआ, 3 साल में हो जाएगा, 4 साल में हो जाएगा, वो मत देखो आप ये देखो यदि 1000 का 500 हो गया, तो भी तुम जिंदा रहोगे ना. मतलब यू हैव टू कीप इट दैट सिंपल, यदि तो मतलब तुमको गांव तो नहीं जाना, वापस पड़ेगा ना. जैसे मेरे को क्या लगता है, आई विल नॉट डू एनीथिंग whereby I have to go to my village in Chhattisgarh. Okay. So, with that, so I don't borrow anything, but equity, you can have I have seen three times 65% correction. 92, 30 crores to 10 crores. 2000, 100 crores to 30 crores. 2008, 550 crores to 225 crores. And now, I was in Calcutta, I was telling the guys in February यार मेरे को लगता है चौथे टाइम बुलावा आ गया करके. I just told the people. They were telling me, रामदेव जी आपने ऐसा आगे बोला था करके. तभी मेरा पोर्टफोलियो वैल्यूएशन था 1850. I said बॉस लगता है 1000 करोड़ लगेगा इस बार लग रहा है. And it came down to 1100 crores this time. So 1850 to 1100. But निकल जाता है, टाइम निकल जाता है. क्या अंतर पड़ता है? चाहे 1800 और 1100, 800. How does it matter? I don't have to go to my village. So long as that, because एक बार आपने देख लिया ये 1000 करोड़ डिक्लाइन, फिर उसके बाद क्या है, अभी क्या बचा है? What risk you're talking about? Like now again it is back to 1600 plus. Just about now I'm just 10% away from the all-time high, 8% away from the all-time high. So equity has to be kept very simple. The risk management has to be very commonsensical, very simple, and keep it simple. जिसमें आप comfortable रहो. आपने पैसे कमा लिए, अभी तो आपको यहाँ से तो मजा ही करने का है. You should have fun of coming to the equities. If it is not a fun, don't come to the equity market. It should not be a source of stress. Stress लेके कहीं नहीं जाने वाले आप बीमारी हो जाओगे फिर.
Sir, one more question. Of course, your house has always been known for bottom-up picks and value-driven ways you've actually established over a period of time. What is your view about mid-caps and small caps?
We are in interesting times. SEBI is also playing. Actually, just one second. Yeah. This mid cap is a very interesting. This is very interesting right now. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So see what had happened was because of this 2018 guidelines of SEBI. That time there was a mid and small cap boom, and they said beyond 250 basically it is small cap, and that punctured that entire boom. And they punctured it so badly that now it has become underpriced. Some of the selective companies are underpriced if it is a small cap. So obviously right now, what is happening is because of this COVID and massive liquidity, there is a lot of interest, and there's an amazing kind of movements in some of the companies which are mid and small. Because mid and small में होता क्या है? When the big guys tries to enter, so getting even 50 crores stuff is tough. आज Reliance में आपको 1000 crore चाहिए तो मतलब it will not take half a minute. But if you want to get even 1000 crore का पूरा portfolio of 10 mid cap companies, I think पूरा महीना निकल जाएगा. And you'll have to pay a price of 10, 15, 20%. So that is what is happening. Now the big guys are chasing small companies because they're reasonably priced, they're underpriced. And they will chase to the extent that will become overpriced. So you have to be very careful. If you are a small investor, you should be very smart. एकदम चिपकाई देने का सबको. मतलब यदि कोई चीज बहुत महंगा हुआ, बोलता कोई लाव करता है, तो दे देने का. Because in mid cap, it's like a मंदिर का जो पट होता है ना, जो भगवान का जैसे पट खुलता है, ऐसा खुलता है. It is once in a day. When it opens, when the people come to buy, पूरा चाहवा दे देने का उठा के, भाई चलो जाओ, हो गया काम हमारा. So buy at 5 P multiple and 20-25 P multiple when there's too much of demand. Just give it to them. And of course, after you sell it, it will go up. But don't feel bad. And don't go again buy at higher price. Because the damn thing is going to collapse. So ये मैं बहुत देखा हूँ. हालांकि it is very tough to execute what I'm saying. I'm cap independent in terms of investing. मेरे को जहाँ खबर आता है मैं वहाँ कर दूंगा. मेरे को जहाँ समझ में आता है वहाँ खरीदूंगा. I can buy very small cap. I can buy mid cap, because mid cap is also very large now. By definition, mid cap is like up to 25,000 crores, and small cap is below, I think, 8-9,000 crores. So, I mean, now less than $1 billion is all small cap. So India has changed the style. So I think you have a lot of flexibility. It doesn't matter what is the cap. You should have that terrific story.
Thank you, sir. One question to Abhijit, small question, then last question to each one of you, one. So one question to Abhijit is...
I can't hear you.
Sorry, can you hear me now? You can hear me now, sir? Abhijit, are you able to hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you, sir.
Sure, we can hear you, sir. I think some problem at your end. Meanwhile, I'll just ask a question to you, Abhijit.
Mr. Bhavit?
I can hear you, sir. Ramdevji, I can hear you.
We can hear you. So one question to you, Abhijit, that is, what do people look at on the debt side? What is your recommendation? Because we've spoken about equity quite a lot.
Yeah.
So what do you?
Yeah, sorry, I missed the entire last 1 minute. Please go ahead.
Sure. So I was basically just posing this question, one last question to each one of you. So I said I'll pose it to Abhijit about debt markets. We've spoken too much about equity. So I was asking Abhijit that what does he recommend to our investors? How should they approach the debt markets? So any ideas and views on that side?
Just quickly, I'll give a quick answer because today we're talking about equity. We have seen a lot of issues on the credit market, and we discussed that last time we had a knowledge series. I think it's not the right time to take that extra risk in debt. So what one should look at is on the debt allocation. पहले तो portfolio में debt equity is equal to 100 minus the age. बचाव allocation debt. Put that, bank deposits are the safest, people say, but the returns obviously very low. So you can actually look at fixed deposits of some select NBFCs, or you can look at top rated bonds, perpetual bonds, Reserve Bank of India, Government of India bonds. I think that is where one should put in money and not take that as extra risk. We have a select set of bonds which are on the tap and fixed deposits, and I wouldn't advise anybody to go beyond that. Mutual funds, we wouldn't recommend to take any credit risk funds, though the returns could be higher, but once bitten twice shy. अगर आपका एक बार मुंह जल गया गरम दूध से तो आप छाछ भी फूक फूक के पियोगे, वैसे है. So keep it simple there, or at best keep in short-term debt funds.
Sir, last question to you. Any on the equity side, what should be the mix? I completely subscribe that you also mentioned that you probably pick up stock as long as you feel whatever stock is good. But nonetheless, from an investor perspective, any pearls of wisdom, if you want to probably talk about some kind of allocation percentage or any other pearl of wisdom you want to probably share with them.
I mean, see, the point is, first thing is to keep it simple. जितना समझ में आता उतना ही करो. यदि आप particularly if you are from particular profession, say you are a pharmacy guy, you are a doctor, you understand particular business, have 50-60% of the portfolio, if not 100%, from that industry. Say somebody owns a mall, so he is seeing all the shops, किसका दुकान चल रहा है, किसका नहीं चल रहा है. So his understanding of all the retailing will be far better. But he wants to go and buy pharmacy, or some oil company or something. He must focus on the, in fact, I advise to a few doctors who give me free advice. So I also give them free advice. So, I mean, that the doctors are so keen that even before completing his advice, he's interested in talking to me about the stocks. तो मैं बोलता हूँ डॉक्टर साहब आप मेरे बताओ कौन सी दवाई कंपनी खरीदनी है. Because I don't understand how the hell to pronunciate all these molecules. But you understand what is the power of these molecules. So tell me which are the good companies whose MRs are good, who are very driven, who are very passionate, जिसका दवाई आप खरीदते हैं. तो so the issue is that and have the number of companies, as many companies you understand, for whatever reason. If you understand 5 companies, don't have 6 companies. I'm telling you, you'll be so happy because you know that what these companies can do. So one is कि आप ये समझो कि कितने में रिस्क ले सकते हो आप. मतलब how much you can actually lose, in the sense that at least 50% of that you can lose, and still it will not give you pain. जैसे मैं 100 करोड़ का मान लो खरीदा, 50 करोड़ का लॉस मैं सह सकता हूँ. 50 करोड़ का हमेशा आप समझ लो ऐसा हो सकता है कि आपको तब बेचना पड़े जब एक्चुअली 50% डाउन हो. 50% ऊपर हो तो बहुत अच्छा है, कोई टेंशन नहीं, मेरे से पूछने की जरूरत ही नहीं. लेकिन 50% नीचे होगा तो आप जहर खा सकते हो क्या, ये देखने का है. So, that particular risk assessment, that, okay, let me allocate only this much to the equity, and then within equity, have very focused portfolio. Focus to the extent that you go and buy only those companies, even if it is mediocre company, only those who you understand, I'm telling you. Because you will buy at reasonable price. The moment you buy, and make sure that 90% is the management. If you buy hard, honest management, see, I mean, the real combination is terrific business and terrific management. जो आपको नेस्ले में मिलता है, लीवर में मिलता है, एशियन पेंट्स में मिलता है, फैंटास्टिक बिजनेस, लॉन्जिविटेड बिजनेस एंड फैंटास्टिक मैनेजमेंट. ये तो मतलब आपको भाव देखने की जरूरत नहीं है, ऐसी वाली बात है. बट when it comes to, I mean, I would say for a common man, he can really figure out this is honest management, hard working management. Once you are there, you will make money, decent amount of money if you buy at a reasonable price. So I would say that equity management, I mean, actually managing public money, large amount, is a very complex call. Not because picking a stock is difficult, but ये so appraisal जो होता है कि एक महीने में क्या हुआ, एक साल में क्या हुआ, 3 साल में क्या हुआ, you know, and then what is the peer set comparison, what is the index के सामने comparison, what is the drawdown, what is the upward draft, downward draft. मैं बोला यार इतना हमको थोड़ी मालूम है शेयर खरीदे उस समय तो तुम मेरे को यू कैन अप्रेज मी लुकिंग बैकवर्ड बट आई हैव टू मैनेज इट लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड. तो मेरे को कैसे मालूम कि कोविड आने वाला है और कोविड के टाइम में सब जितने एविएशन कंपनी है उनके सबकी धुलाई होने वाली है. यू नो इवन बफेट को नहीं मालूम था, बेचारा ने 40% ऑफ द कंपनीज खरीद लेता, 10%. I mean, did he know that 100% stock can come down? So obviously you can appraise me on any parameter going forward, but doing a decent job in equity management is what is important. And आपकी किस्मत रहेगी तो आपको कहाँ लॉटरी लगेगा मालूम नहीं पड़ेगा. And I have enough cases where actual में लॉटरी लगता है. Literally ऊपर वाला देखते रहता है कि इस बंदे ने बहुत तकलीफ लिया है, इसको कुछ ना कुछ भेज दो. You know, मैं बताता हूँ एक महाराष्ट्र स्कूटर करके कंपनी है, अभी भी मेरे पास पड़ा हुआ है. I bought it for 300 rupees. Why? Because there was 1,000 rupees worth of Bajaj Auto in that. So मैं बोला Bajaj Auto बहुत महंगा है, तो 1,000 रुपए का हम 300 में खरीदे. मारवाड़ी आदमी है, थोड़ा सस्ता खरीदेंगे. तो हमने खरीद लिया. हमने 5% तो कंपनी खरीद लिया. रोज जितना आता सब खरीदते गए. Bajaj Auto का भाव डबल हो गया, इसका भाव वहीं रहा. मैं बोला यार ये भी बहुत तकलीफ वाला काम है. The discount, the holding company discount was 60% when I bought it. It became 90%. मैं बोला यार ये तो मतलब बहुत अत्याचार हो गया. अच्छा भाई बेचने हो तो बिके भी ना. So I held it for now it is 14 years holding. Okay, 14 years. अभी पूरे शेयर पड़े हैं. 9 साल तक वही भाव रहा और बजाज ऑटो went 3 or 4x. Then देखो ऊपर वाला बहुत हमारे पर मेहरबान हो गया. फिर उन्होंने क्या किया, बजाज फाइनेंस का शेयर उन्होंने इनको दे दिया. Because it's some kind of restructuring. They gave 2 crore shares of 1.8 crore shares of Bajaj Finance at 10 rupees to this company.
Wow.
हुआ क्या, वो 300 रुपए वाला शेयर होगा 5,000 का भाव, 14 गुना 4 साल के अंदर. वो मेरी तपस्या के कारण था, बताता हूँ मैं. ऊपर वाले ने वरदान दिया, इस बंदे ने ईमानदारी से तपस्या किया हुआ है, इसको कुछ ना कुछ खटाओ बोले समझे ना, अदरवाइज भाग जाएगा वो यहाँ से. तो ये क्या है, आप तपस्या करोगे. तपस्या इज बेसिकली नथिंग बट पेशेंस. यू सिट अंडर द राइट ट्री एंड समटाइम्स 10 में से 1-2 गलत भी निकलेंगे, डजंट मैटर. Because in portfolios, don't be too much perturbed by 1 or 2 mistakes. Because downside is only 1x, upside is 100x. It is very asymmetric possibility in stock market. I mean, आपने 100 रुपए लगाया है, 10 में से 100 रुपए में 10 लगाया आप, तो 100 का 0 हो सकता है. बट जो चलेगा वो 1000 गुना भी हो सकता है. कोई 10 गुना होगा, कोई 2 गुना होगा, कोई 5 गुना होगा, डिपेंडिंग ऑन योर क्वालिटी एंड लक. सो this is very asymmetric deal. It is possible only in a stock market. In a country like India where you are growing at 6-7%, 10 years में companies can go crazy places if it is successful. I mean, even a Motilal Oswal जैसा एकदम simple company has come from literally nothing, from 1 crore rupees in 1990 to today 3,200 crores is the net worth. 10,000 crore का market cap है. तो what I'm saying is we are not rocket science. We are very simple company. But this is the power of compounding of 30 years. और ये किसी के साथ भी होगा, मैं बोलता हूँ आपको. Okay, so I think I hope I could convey my thoughts and Abhijit, Akhil.
Yes, sir.
Enthusiasm and so much positivity. You gave us so much enthusiasm and positivity and confidence that I think we are all going to take everything possible from the bank account and buy some equity stocks now.
ज्यादा मत खरीदना भाई, अदरवाइज आप जो मैं कॉशन किया हूँ वो भी आप ख्याल रखना. तो क्या है कि ऐसा बोल के मेरे को थोड़ा कॉन्फिडेंस आता है.
खरीदो तो मोतीलाल ओसवाल प्रोडक्ट खरीदना.
I think thanks so much, sir. I think it was a very honest session. Your experience, your knowledge, your years of tapasya, as you called it. You shared the the way it has to be done and how it has to be looked at. I think we all will carry something back from this. Today we've had many sessions, but today was one session we had a good number of people there and there from beginning till end. Otherwise, people numbers keep moving up and down. So I think that talks about the how the audience was captivated. So I think thanks for coming. Thanks Abhijit. Thanks Akhil for arranging the entire piece. I think we will now end the session, and we'll look forward to more partnerships.
Thank you, Abhijit. Thank you, Shantanu, for giving the opportunity. Thank you, Ramdevji, as always. It's always pleasure hearing him. And good luck to everybody. Take care of yourselves.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.